Welcome everybody. It is Thursday and I am early. I think I'm early. Put in that chat box there if you can hear me. I would appreciate it. This is going to be an awesome session today because I'm going to talk about my mistakes, okay? Things I messed up, and maybe I could help you out with that. But if you're new, hey, we do these live sessions every day, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock in the morning, to help you guys start, run, and grow your online businesses. So if you have other questions that aren't pertaining to my subject matter, but they do pertain to running and growing online businesses, feel free to put it in that chat section. I'll be happy to help you out. This is no charge, no sales, not selling you anything whatsoever. I'm just here to help you out with your businesses. So, if you got questions about advertising, sales pages, email funnels, man, I did a funnel this week, and I'll get into the subject matter in just a second, but I did a funnel this week and it has just blown up. It's gone crazy. I had we were selling canned meat, and I had this thing where, you could buy up to 10 cases, but that was the limit, only 10 cases. And that was like $1,590. And I had this guy go in and log in 3 times and buy the 10 cases 3 times. He bought 30 cases. Gosh knows, it was craziness. But we're doing well. Hey, James, what's going on, my friend? All right, let me check the weather here. Me and James always compare our weather. We show off our weather. All right, let's see what James has got. James has got 77, sunny and breezy. And what do I have, James? What do I have? I've got, I've got cloudy today, and I've got 70. But you know what? That's still pretty good, right? We got a 2% chance of rain. But I mean, I think everybody has a 2% chance of rain, right? He says loud and clear. I appreciate that, James. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. There's a button down there, and I'm so close to hitting my 5,000, guys. The other day I thought it was there, and I was 100 off. So go figure. But if you would subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. And if you would ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live, or if I upload a video, it'll notify you either way, but you have to have that on. And give me a thumbs up. That thumbs up matters so much. I didn't realize that until just recently, that just somebody hitting that thumbs up can really help your video. So please, if you would do that thumbs up thing, I would really appreciate it. And I know James did it. He said, yeah, I remember to smash the like button, and you're so supportive, and I really appreciate you, James. I really, really do. It's very cool of you. So what I'd like to do is get started. Yes, my throat is always rough in the morning. Those of you who come here know that. It's like I go from sleeping to sitting with my dog and all curled up on the couch to here in my office and kind of like yelling and screaming, not yelling and screaming, but I've got some energy. Okay, I got a little bit of energy. I can't help that. So then my voice is like, oh wait, I'm not ready for you. I'm not ready for you. Cloudy is good. Let's see here. I love a rainy day, just like Eddie Rabbit. You know what a good attitude. No matter what it is, we love it, right? Because we're alive to do this. I went yesterday and got my other COVID shot in my arm, and that's the one that supposedly makes you feel like crap. I mean, you get really sick, you get fever, you get chills, you get achy. One of my friends says he had a buddy who got it, and he threw up for 3 days, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go get it. And I went there, and the girl was getting ready to give me the shot. The girl, she's the pharmacist, okay? The older I get, the more she seems like it's a girl. But she's giving me the shot, and I said, this is the one that gets me sick, right? And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, this is the one that pretty much does it. And I will let you know, I got that shot yesterday afternoon. My arm is sore, and that is it. It's not even as sore as the first time around. So if you're contemplating getting those vaccines, hey, it's up to you. It's a personal thing. Some people are against it. Some people are for it. I was in the middle of the road, but I had some situations where I thought I should get it, so I did it. I think probably for travel, you're probably going to have some record of it. So I have the record of it. So whatever. I rolled the dice, in 20 years, if I have something guilt wrong with me, I guess I could blame it on the shot or something. But anyhow, I want to get into the subject matter today. I'm excited. I'm excited to tell you things that I screw up. Okay, I'm excited to tell you that stuff because here's the deal, man. We all screw up. We all make mistakes. And the first thing I'm going to tell you guys, since I started off with we all screw up, is number one, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid of that. It's not a big deal, man. It really isn't. We get so scared of failing. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they wanted to tell me something, and they finally told me something, and I agreed with them, and they said, oh my gosh, I was so afraid to tell you this because I thought you would think I was crazy, or you'd make fun of me, or it was stupid. And see, we put up these walls and these blocks because we're so worried about what everybody else thinks. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Gosh, I mean, the richest people in the world fail all the time. Matter of fact, if you pick all these really super successful people and you dig into their background, you're going to find that they got a lot of problems. They had a lot of issues. Not that being successful gives you problems. It's that the more you try things, the more you're going to have problems. So what? Not a big deal. Number two thing was, in the beginning, I didn't make a business plan. I didn't have a real plan. So guys, I would suggest you doing that. Make a business plan. Have a plan as to what you're going to do. If you don't know where you're heading, you don't know what you're going to do, it can really mess you up. And I didn't in the beginning, and I actually got on the bandwagon pretty quick on that one and figured it out. And now I pretty much plan out everything I do, okay? And that's going to bring me to my number 3 thing I want to tell you guys about, and that is get organized. Get organized. Oh my gosh. In the beginning, let me get a little sip here real quick. We hit right when Fukushima hit Japan, and we were just growing our business. And I was getting so many orders, guys. It was insane how many orders I would get in a day. I mean, for me, it was like 30, 40, 50, sometimes 100 orders in a day. And I was taking in these orders, but I wasn't organized. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to enter them. I was just really slow at it. And these orders started to pile up, and I got really far behind. And fortunately, about that time, my wife came to work with me, and she got me organized. She's a much more organized person than me. And there's little things along the way. Like, I had so many different logins for different sites and stuff like that, and I would forget my passwords, and I was always resetting my passwords. And one day, in 2013, she was like, get this password app for your phone, and you'll have them all there at one time. And I resisted, and I now have that password app, and let me share it with you because I want to help you guys out. It's called M-Secure. This is the app, and let me just show you something here. This is my password app, and as you can see, I have got a lot of passwords in here now. Now imagine if I had not done that. I mean, it wastes so much time always reset your password because you forget them, you can't remember them all, and then they make you change them and all that. Paul says, organization is my biggest downfall, working hard on it though. Well, you know what? If you know it's a downfall of yours and you're working on it, you've almost got it solved. You really do. James says, Paul says, how often did you revisit your plan? I revisit my plan every day. I mean, I really do. I look at what's going on, what I had planned, what I'm going to do, what my future is. And every day I look at it and adjust. My ads, I look at every probably 2 or 3 days to make sure they're going right. I got to do that today. In fact, we've got to do some reorganization today for my wife's ads and my ads. So we're going to work on that. You definitely married up and right, obviously. Yeah, I believe so. She's an awesome person. Next thing I've got, number 4 is understanding your market and target audience. I did not do that in the beginning. I just thought, hey, everybody needs survival food. That is true. Everybody does need survival food. However, not everybody's going to buy it. Not everybody wants it. Not everybody believes in it. So once I figured out that I needed to kind of target who these people were, I needed to figure out who these people were, I was much better off. And the funny thing is, when you start to target your audience, they hear you and everybody else shuts you out. It's like if you're shopping for a new car. Let's say you're shopping for a new car and you're watching TV or you're listening to radio or whatever. You're going to start hearing all the ads for cars. All of a sudden, your ears are going to kind of focus in on all those ads. If you're shopping for furniture, all the ads that you see on TV and all that, all of a sudden you're going to see them. Whereas before, when you weren't shopping for a car or furniture, you didn't even notice the ads. You didn't notice them. It's just like when you finally do get the car, whatever kind of car you get, you see that car all over town. It's like everybody's got that car all of a sudden because, you're so focused in on that one thing. So, that is really, really important to understand that. Number 5 is not a big one, and I didn't have a problem with it, but it will be a problem for some of you guys, and that's filing for the proper legal structure and business registration. I have a video on this channel that goes through each legal structure, and it explains what each legal structure is. So, check on my channel for that. And I think it's company structure or legal structure, something like, just search that on my channel. But that's really important to set that up right. We are an S corporation right now, and I'm revisiting that. I really am. When I moved to Texas, is there a better way of doing stuff in Texas? I don't know. We'll figure that out. Any plans to expand your Survivalcave product line? Yes, and I think you asked me that in a comment the other day, Paul, and I haven't gotten a chance to get to the comments. I do have to do that today. But yeah, we have a freeze-dried line we're working on right now. We had one for years and years and years, and we had some manufacturing glitches, so we had to revamp that. But that is something we're going to revisit. We definitely are going to do, and it is in the near future. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Our Survivalcave canned meats does so well that we don't need a survival food freeze dry, but I know there's people that want it, and I think we need to supply it to them, so I'm going to be working on that. The next thing up, and this is a big one, and you'll notice this a lot if you haven't owned a business before, is don't try to do everything yourself. Don't do everything yourself. You can't do everything yourself. You're going to want to really watch your money in the beginning, and you're going to say to yourself, well, oh my gosh, I could go ahead and enter this data here, and I don't have to pay anybody anything. I'm going to save all that money. The problem is your time usage. If you are entering in data, which is something anybody can do, I mean, pretty much if you can type, you can enter in data, then you're not doing something else. It's not the matter of can you do something and save the money. It's a matter of what are you not doing to make money while you're doing that. And that's how you have to start thinking about stuff. If you think of things that way, then you're going to start adjusting your time differently. So it's really important to understand, just because you're doing something and saving some money doesn't mean you're not costing yourself more money by not doing something else. So if I'm doing data entry, that means I'm not making a video. I can't have anybody else make my videos because it's me, okay? So I have to make my own videos. That's something I have to do. So every time I do something that takes away from that, then I'm not making a video. Videos make me money. So that's something to think about. I can't delegate videos, but I can delegate many other things. So that's what I've come to find out. The next thing is, I would almost say, don't partner with anybody, but don't partner with the wrong investors. I've seen this happen over and over again, where people will partner up with other people and they got this great idea for this business, and then they start to disagree. And I know you say, well, this is my best friend, this is my wife, this is my brother, whatever. You will have disagreements. There's no way that two people are going to think exactly the same at all times. Now, I'm not saying that some partnerships don't work, because certainly there's been some very good partnerships. However, they don't work for me, okay? And they don't work for most people because there's too many decisions to be made that people can disagree on. So I want you to think really hard about that partnership or investor thing. I don't like investors at all. We have no investors in our company. We don't have any debt or anything like that. So that's how we run the business. But how you run yours is up to you. But I would say take a look at that. What else would I tell you? Don't hire too soon. That's another thing. When people always ask you, like I say, I have a business. They go, oh, really? How many employees do you have? And I know immediately that they don't understand business. Having number of employees does not dictate how much money you make, how profitable you are, how big your business is. It just means you've got more debt, okay? And an employee is debt. Not that you don't need employees, because we do have employees, obviously, but the more you have, the more your nut goes up, the more that the less that you're going to be able to take out of your business, because you got to give it to other people. And when I had a warehouse in Poway, and I got rid of that, and I use a 3PL now, where it's a warehouse that I pay for them to ship stuff out for me. But when I had my own warehouse, I had the warehouse. It was a 6-bay warehouse, 14,000 square feet. It had a bunch of offices in it, and I had warehouse people, and I had receptionists, and I had all these people that I had to come to work every day and pay, and I had to be there for them, which was another pain in the butt. Now that I farmed it out to a warehouse in Utah, I don't see any of those people every day. We talk to them online, and they get out the orders, and they do all that stuff, but I don't have to deal with them. So there's something to be said about that. Don't hire too soon. Be very, very careful about that. Another thing is, don't underestimate what things will cost. Things always seem to cost more than what you think. They just do. So don't get too stretched out. Don't spend all your money. Keep some money in the bank. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. Trust me on this. You're gonna need it. When you spend all your money on all these things and you underestimate stuff, you can run out of money super fast. The next thing I'll tell you is don't waste your money. Now I've been pretty good about this one, but man, I see so many people waste money, and it's like, all these little things add up. All these little tiny expenditures add up. Your cash flow with a startup is so super important, guys. I've made the mistake of hiring too many people in the past. I have done that. And then, you're spending all your money to fill the top of your funnel with new customers constantly. Instead of really taking care of the customers you have, you're wasting your money. New customers are really tough to get. Keeping your customers is a whole lot easier, and they're going to be more profitable. They're going to buy from you. So, constantly spending tons of money on ads everywhere can really, really be a bad use of your money. Not that you shouldn't do ads, you should, but that's important too. Next thing I would tell you is don't undervalue your product or service. I was guilty of that in the beginning. I didn't charge enough for my products. I didn't charge enough for my services. Even when I was doing coaching, which I don't do anymore because it's just too time consuming for me, but I wasn't charging enough money, and I was surprised at how much people will pay me for coaching, though I don't do it anymore because it just takes up too much of my time. I'd rather work on my own business. But don't undervalue it. Look at what everybody else is charging out there and charge at least that. Okay. And if you're better than everybody else, you should charge more. The other thing I'll tell you is don't expand too quickly. That is a thing I did in the beginning with a huge warehouse and forklifts and me doing all this stuff. And oh my God, I expanded, and it was crazy how much my debts went up. I had the warehouse cost, which was probably with all the utilities and rent and all that stuff, was about $20,000 a month, and then you added employees on top of that, and it was like, wow. And then of course you had to add the cost of my products and all. Man, it was a lot of money a month, and I was spending all this money and I wasn't keeping anything. I don't have that warehouse anymore. I have my 3PL, which is third-party logistics, in case you don't know, and I pay when a pallet comes in there, and I pay when they package it and ship it and do all that, but I don't have to pay for that warehouse every month. I don't have to. Okay, which is awesome. I like that. Let me get another sip here real quick. And the next one is make sure you have the proper bookkeeping setup. Ooh, this is a big one, guys. Make sure you have the proper bookkeeping setup. There's a lot of good softwares out there. We use QuickBooks, but we also have a corporate accountant, and he does all the accounting for us. But we got to get it organized. If you're not good at something like this, hire somebody who is, and don't get behind. Don't go, in the next couple months I'm going to get all this stuff up to date. Don't do that. Do it on a monthly basis. Get all your bookkeeping done on a monthly basis, because you get far behind on this stuff and it can be a real nightmare. And you also, if you get far behind on this stuff, you don't really know where you stand. You don't really know how much money you have. You don't know what things are costing you. And usually once a year I'll revisit all these things and see what things are costing me. It's funny, I have Office 365, I think, something like that, through GoDaddy. And GoDaddy, I have some emails through them, and they've switched it over where you don't get free emails anymore, and they wanted to charge me like $281 for emails, and my wife was like, well, why don't you set them all up on Gmail? I said, well, I don't want a Gmail address. She goes, no, you can set up the business emails in Gmail, and it's like $12 a month for up to 10 people. I'm like, what is that? So I switched over. I've got like training at J.R. Fisher and support at J.R. Fisher and mail at J.R. Fisher, all these different emails that go into my site, jrfisher.com. I can now add all these emails there, and it doesn't cost me all this money. She saved me a lot of money on doing that. She's very helpful and stuff like that. So yeah, get that bookkeeping set up, guys. Get it set up. Next up, I would say, is make sure you have a correct marketing plan. I didn't in the beginning. I don't know what marketing was. Marketing was my website, right? No, it's not. Marketing is super important. It's having the right emails set up. It's having the right sales pages set up. The promotion I've done this week has generated tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's really been nice. But I spent 2 weeks setting up the emails and the sales pages and the thank you pages and the upsells and all these things that went along with it. I spent a lot of extra time doing that. So you've got to create these marketing plans. They don't take care of themselves. It's super, super important to do that. And a lot of people don't. And the thing also is you're going to have the right tools. I use Kartra, Kartra. When this video's over with, in the description, you'll see a link for Kartra. And Kartra will automate all this stuff for you guys, your emails, your sales pages, dynamically what people see, which is very cool. Paul, what you got to say, buddy? Hire to be able to work on your business, not in it. Yep. Also to free up time. Also hate doing lawn work. Saves me hours to be free to do others. Yeah, I guarantee that. I guarantee it. And I'm not doing the lawn either. Matter of fact, our house is being built, and I was talking to the builder today, or actually the rep for the builder. We're having this irrigation system put in, but we have the largest yard in the neighborhood for what that's worth. And believe me, that doesn't impress me. I had a 3-acre yard in Virginia, and all it was maintenance. So I look at it as to what it really is now. It's not like, oh, I've got this big yard. No, you've got a lot of maintenance. You got a problem. Paul says, P.S. love your email copy. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do write all my own emails. Nobody's ever written an email for me. I don't copy anybody else's stuff. I mean, I've certainly gotten ideas from other people. But yeah, I do write my own emails. And I appreciate that, Paul. That's nice to hear. What else can I tell you? Don't hire the wrong people. Different skill sets or different jobs, different backgrounds are needed for different positions. I worked with a large credit card company recently, and she had hired everybody wrong. Everybody. It was ridiculous. You know, one of the guys who was their chief marketing officer ran a bar in the Bahamas. You know, he had a little small bar that went out of business in the Bahamas, and she hired him as the chief marketing officer. And then all she did was complain about how all these people she had in these jobs weren't doing well. I'm like, well, you hired the wrong people in every single job. Every single job, you hired the wrong people. I hired somebody from her high school who she liked a lot, who was a best friend of hers, to be their marketing director. And I was like, well, she doesn't, you know, she went to high school with you. What's that got to do with it? So don't hire the wrong people, okay? Don't hire a generalist. I'm not a generalist. You know, there's certain things I'm good at, certain things I'm not good at. And I know that. And I do the things I'm good at, and I farm out the things I'm not good at. So that's another thing. This is another big one I see in a lot of businesses do, is don't overpromise and underdeliver. You need to do just the opposite, okay? So don't promise people a whole bunch of stuff. If you think it's going to take 5 days to get something out to a customer, tell them 7 to 10, okay? Tell them 7 to 10. If it comes in 5 days, all the better, okay? But the point is, if you promise these people stuff and it doesn't come through, you're going to ruin your reputation, okay? You're going to lose your loyalty to these people. You don't want to do that. Super important that you realize that. We always try to underpromise and overdeliver. We give them more than what, you know, we think we've told them. Let's see here. And a lot of times people will do that to get potential customers. They'll say, oh yeah, I can get it to you faster if you go ahead and buy from me now. Don't do that. Don't do it. And that goes with your products too. If you're seeing refunds, your marketing is probably over promising. If you're seeing refunds, we rarely see refunds. Paul says, what about micromanaging? Yeah, I try not to do that. I try to have people in place where I don't have to do that. However, I'll catch myself doing that every now and then. But every now and then, you know, people say don't micromanage, and I get that. But every now and then, no matter how much you trust somebody, you know, how much you like somebody, no matter how good they are, you need to check behind them in every area. And you need to check behind them in every area, because maybe they've made some adjustments. Maybe they've made some changes that don't work with your business plan. And the thing is, if you don't catch that stuff, it can really get out of hand. I had a situation like that yesterday. Person just made a change, not a big deal. We got it fixed. But you got to look at that stuff every now and then. You don't need to be on top of them every day. And the reason I think a lot of people micromanage, if you want to call it that, in other words, check every single thing the person's doing, is because they didn't train them well, or they get the wrong person in the job. If you don't train them well and they don't know what they're supposed to do, you're going to have to constantly correct them because they don't know what they're supposed to do. It's your fault. If you find yourself micromanaging, it's your lack of training is what it really is. It's your lack of hiring the right person for the job. Maybe they don't have the talents for that job if they're constantly needing supervision. Plus the fact that if you're micromanaging and you're constantly correcting them and doing these things, You're taking your time away from something else that you could be doing. So that's something to really understand, is that your time is so important. The older I get, the more I realize my time is important, because I don't have that much left, right? So what am I going to do with it? How am I going to invest my time? What am I going to spend my time on? The other thing I'll tell you is don't, and I'll probably end with this one, don't underestimate the demands of a business. And let me switch to my other screen here real quick. Your business, even if it's an online business, mine is an online business, I don't have to be at a certain point for certain hours. In other words, like if I had a hair salon, I would have to be there from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, okay? And I could leave and get a lunch if somebody was covering for me. Online is not like that. You know, you don't know if I'm here or not here. However, that doesn't mean that my business isn't demanding. You know, I had somebody yesterday who was having some issues with logins on, you know, one of my membership sites, and I had to help them. Sometimes late at night, somebody will contact me about an order, and they need help, and I have to help them. Certainly on the weekends, people need help with stuff, or need assistance, or have questions or whatever, and I have to work on the weekends. So bottom line is, the demands of my business is 24/7. I mean, it really literally is 24/7. Now I've got to sleep, obviously, and I've got to eat, and I've got to exercise. Those are the things that are important. And then, you know, have to have some leisure time. But don't underestimate. Don't say, well, I've got everything online, so I don't hardly have to work at all. That's just not true. As a matter of fact, if everything is clicking along and everything's going great and you have a good flow of money coming in, that's the time where you need to start looking for more things to do. Okay, that's the time where you need to say, well, how can I improve this? How can I improve my profits? How can I improve my processes? How can I increase my income by having new products? What can I do to improve my business? So if you're lucky enough to get everything clicking like that and everything's working well, then you need to spend time on working and improving and learning and doing more. You should never really have this downtime that you talk about. Certainly you can for vacations. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, you know, Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is, make sure you're involved in your business. Online businesses demand a lot of attention. And sometimes I think they demand more attention than a, you know, brick and mortar business, because a brick and mortar business has certain hours that you have to be there, and then after that there's nothing going on. Not really. I mean, there's some stuff, but bottom line is, you know, if you own that nail salon and you've ordered all your supplies and you got all your employees and all that, and you leave at 6 o'clock, ain't nothing happening after 6 o'clock. Okay, that's not true with an online business. It literally is 24/7. People from around the world contact me and buy things. So that's really important. Hey, we've almost reached 30 minutes. That's pretty cool, right? Hey, did any of this stuff resonate with you? Have you seen yourself in any of these things I've talked about today? Has it helped you out some? I'm trying to get, you know, for you guys, even more and more focused and more organized, so that I can help you with your businesses. I know if I keep feeding you this information, it's going to make you more and more money, and that's what I want to do. I really do. If you feel like it's useful, you know, give me a comment there in that chat section. Don't forget to subscribe. That's super important. Don't forget to ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications, and give me that thumbs up. And if you have any other questions, you can go ahead and pop them in there now. I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. I know James was really concerned the other day because you didn't show up. So he wanted to know, why didn't you show up the other day? So, you know, but I get it. You can't be here every day. But it was just kind of funny. You know, we really, we miss our people when they're not here. Have you any suggestions about getting addicted to more? Wow. You know, I think everybody, when you say addicted to more, I think you mean more work and more stuff and more doing more things. I think everybody has to find their own balance. And I think that balance is within you. My balance is I work, you know, on a regular basis, but I'm no Elon Musk. I mean, he'll blow your mind, right? I mean, he just does so many things. And I saw him walk into a crowd of people, I told you guys the other day, and he walked into them and he was so calm and like he didn't have a care in the world. And I know he's got a rocket company. If I had a rocket company, I'd be like, oh my God, I got a rocket company. And he owns a car manufacturing company. If I had that, I'd be like, oh my God, I got to worry about that all the time. He seems to be able to allocate his time in all these different areas, and he has an AI company where he's doing neuro implants in the brain to bring people's limbs back to using them again. And he's got a boring company, and oh my God, he's got so much. I have no idea what all he's got, but he seems to be able to manage all that. The average person can't. And I guess I would say is, do what you can do, and try to improve every day, but understand you're not everybody else, and everybody else is not you. Everybody else is different. There's things that people do that a whole lot more than I do, and there's people who do a whole lot less than me. It's really what your balance is in life. There is no perfect balance. It doesn't exist. Balancing work life and your leisure time. I try to make time for everything. Do I get out of balance every now and then? Sure I do. None of us are perfect. And does Elon get out of balance? I guess he doesn't look like it, but I guess he does. Let's see what else we got here. James says, peace and blessings always, everyone. He always has a good input. You have to bounce. Check the rest later. Have a great day, gang. Paul's out. I appreciate you being here. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off too. I really thank you for being here. I'll be here again tomorrow and Saturday. So we have some good sessions. I think Saturday is going to be really interesting for you because it's how to fix some of these problems that we have on a daily basis in our business. I really appreciate each and every one of you here. Love having you here, guys. You guys have a great day and work hard. Get some stuff done. Tell me what you got done. If you're watching this video and it's not live, feel free to put anything you want to say in the comment section and we'll come back and I'll answer those. Did you know that 3D printers are now used to build rockets and even houses? I did not know that, but that's got to be a big printer. Oh wait, they probably build the parts to the houses, right? Yeah, probably so. They probably don't print out the whole house at once. But yeah, they use them for ghost guns. They got all kinds of stuff now they're doing with 3D printers. Pretty interesting stuff. The world has changed, James, hasn't it? I mean, I was talking to Luigi yesterday. I went to lunch with a friend of mine. He's 86. He'll be 87 in August. And I said, have you seen any changes? He's like, yeah. He says, I remember riding in a rumble seat of a car. He says, it's just so bizarre what's changed. And we're so lucky if we're allowed to live for many years and see these changes. I mean, some people die at a infant. Some people die as a kid. To grow up and be an adult and see all these changes, man, we're so fortunate, guys. We really are. So be thankful. Be kind to everybody. You never know what they're going through, right? You never know.